Thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. I also do have a Patreon page now. Link will be in the description. Podcasts are now available on there. I think it starts out at like £2 a month and you can go up to 10. If you like it, give it a listen. Link is there. Now let's get into this. So, just a quick one in advance. If there's any background noise, because people around across the road from us are actually like cutting trees and all shit kind of like that now, so there might be a bit of background noise with chainsaws. Just, I'm sorry if the mic picks up, apologies in advance. But I want to talk about Callum Smith saying that he's willing to take the Canelo fight. I think Eric Gomez and Eddie Hearn both said that fight is being discussed, and that Callum Smith at this point in time is willing to take more money than was originally on the table going back in January, I think, of this year. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Callum Smith is obviously, out of the names we've heard for Canelo, obviously Billy Joe is gone. That fight is, dead. That's gone. That's not happening. Maybe not even ever, right? In terms of some of the other names, your Jay Quigley's, Terrio Johnson's, who else was there? There was a few others. David Lemieux. They're not really names you want to see Canelo. I know with Canelo, it's going to be behind closed doors. There's no gate receipts. He wants a cheap option. I get that. And I get their golden boy fighters. You probably won't have to pay him that much. Get all that. That's fine. But it's Canelo. You do kind of want to see him in there against someone decent. And they mentioned John Ryder. Good shout. Many people felt that John Ryder should get this fight because he beat Callum Smith, although he didn't get the decision. Many people, myself included, felt that John Ryder bet Callum Smith. But at the end of the day, the decision is what the decision is. Callum Smith is still the BBA champion at super middleweight. And yeah, he's saying now that he's willing to take a lower offer in order to face Canelo. What changed would be the question that I have. Because I found it very bizarre when you had Callum Smith and Joe Gallagher coming out saying that they felt that they were worth more, or worse to that effect. I'd done videos on it back at the time, but it was like whatever they were offered was worth more, or they were worth more. And to me, it was a head scratcher, because it's like you're dealing with the biggest cash cow in boxing. Realistically, who are you to demand more? Realistically, and Joe Gallagher's an idiot. I think it's fair to say, just look at the demeanor of the guy. He's an idiot, Joe Gallagher. It's fair to say. And when people say, yeah, but he doesn't even put his fighters first. Go look at Scott Quigg versus John O'Carroll. Joe Gallagher would rather a fighter take a Hail Mary beating and pull him out in the last round of a fight than to show a bit of compassion and pull a fighter out who's clearly not going to win. So I think Joe Gallagher is a bit of an idiot personally. And I think Joe Gallagher has an ego. And I think it's not just the fighter. Like, I'm sure Callum Smith, if this was up to Callum Smith, he probably would have took. Now, obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen, what the world was going to happen. But I think if it was up to Callum Smith, he'd take whatever offer Canelo was giving him, back then, and then probably would have gone and, had every bit of confidence that he would have beat Canelo, because knowing if you take, we'll say, the $8 million that Canelo would have offered you, we'll say that was what was offered. I don't know for a fact, but we'll say that was what was offered. Say he takes the $8 million, he beats Canelo, that's probably $28 million in the rematch, But obviously now we're in a different situation. Everything's changed. The economy is in bits. So obviously now money is, obviously not for these guys, money's not scarce, but knowing that big fights might. Apologies, people. Once again, the phone let me down, died while I'm in mid-conversation about boxing, but I didn't talk. I knew it was dying because I got a little notification off my little device over there to say it was dead. So apologies for that. Let's get back into this. So, yeah, Callum Smith saying now that he is actually willing to take a lower offer to fight Canelo. Definitely, I think it might have something to do with the way boxing is going. And to be honest with you, I think it might have something to do. Now, this might sound a bit kind of strange, but I think it may have something to do with the way Billy Joe Saunders' career has gone. Because if you think about it like this, okay, if Callum Smith wanted X amount of money to fight Canelo pre-lockdown, and that's fair enough, okay, maybe he wouldn't necessarily deserve it, you could argue it, who knows, but he has options, if he doesn't take it on Canelo, because there might be a Billy Joe fight there, we'll say Billy Joe didn't get the kill, maybe they're thinking in their heads, maybe we could fight Billy Joe, it's a decent fight in the UK, put it on pay-per-view, do some decent numbers, I would imagine. If you've done it in the right place. You definitely fill out the O2, maybe even the stadium if it was, you know, promoted the right way. A small stadium, that is. So maybe they were looking at that and thinking, you know, we've options where we can get big money. But now with Billy Joe, just God knows what he's doing, and with boxing the way it is, you know, behind closed doors, no gate receipts, you know, it's a bit all over the place. So it's a hard one, you know. It's a hard one to know where you'd be. Would you make the same kind of money you were going to make before? I doubt that very much. You know, Canelo's getting, you know, a lower offer. He's getting less money for his next fight, regardless who it is. So maybe they're looking at that and thinking, you know what? With the way everything's going, with the way boxing is going, with the way the world is going, we need those 7 figures. You know, we need those 7 figures. And again, as I said earlier on in the video, if you feel as though you're not worth the amount Canelo's giving you, that's your opinion. And I'm sure Joe Gallagher was the one who probably felt that Callum Smith was worth more than that. That's his opinion at the end of the day. That's his fighter. He's managing him. He's trying to get the best out of him. Okay, I get that. But you're dealing with the biggest cash cow in boxing. If you go in there and you beat him, and that's easier said than done. Yes, Canelo is a fantastic fighter and he does get favourable treatment. We know that. But if you do go in there and beat him, right, you are hitting the jackpot for the rematch. It's a risk worth taking. And as I said about Billy Joe Saunders, even if you lose, if you don't disgrace yourself, you've just elevated your name exponentially, regardless of the result. If you don't lose Rocky Fielding style, you've just elevated your name. Okay, so for me, even back when, you know, Callum Smith and Joe Gallagher were saying they weren't getting enough money, to me that was a head scratcher. And I think now they're looking at it and thinking, you know what? We don't know what way boxing's going to go. We need this big fight, because who are they going to fight? Literally, who are they going to fight? Who in the super middleweight division are they going to fight that is not over a PBC? We know the difficulty PBC have been having with getting shows, let alone fighters. So who are they going to fight? Billy Joe? God knows. Is he a middleweight? Is he a super middleweight? Danny Jacobs? That's possible, you know. But is it? That's a US fight, you know. That's not a UK fight, I don't think, anyway. So, you know, it's a strange one. Let me know your thoughts down below. Would you be interested in seeing Callum Smith versus Canelo? I would. I think it's a decent fight. I think Canelo wins. I think Canelo, you know, I think wins it on points, truth be told. Callum Smith could cause Canelo some bother, yeah, but I definitely see Canelo winning that fight. But let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, of course, if you are new to the channel. And as always,